Great. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Thank you very much for joining me today. And I want to begin by acknowledging that the City of Ottawa is built on the traditional and unceded territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe Nation. The peoples of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe Nation have lived on this territory for millennia, and their culture and presence have nurtured and continue to nurture this land. We honor all First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples and their valuable past and present contributions to the land. I'd like to take a moment to reflect on the tragic discovery of unmarked graves at the site of the former Kamloops Indian Residential School. Beginning on May 31st, the flags at City Hall were lowered to half-mast for 215 hours. This period of mourning is reflective of 1 hour for every child whose life was taken. Il est vraiment important de prendre le temps de se recueillir sur le sang de ces enfants. The revelation brings forward many painful memories for residential school survivors and their families, and I want to acknowledge the important work of our Indigenous community partners on the front lines who are offering support and care through this very difficult time. We are committed to deepening our reconciliation journey, and earlier this month, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities and the Big City Mayors Caucus, which I'm a member of, recommitted to urgently advancing the implementation of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's call to action. Last week, I was pleased to launch the city's first Indigenous History Month, featuring a variety of Indigenous-led webinars for city staff to build cultural awareness. Je suis fier de reconnaître le 21 juin comme la Journée nationale des peuples autochtones par le biais d'une proclamation officielle. I'm especially grateful to be on the call today with all of you, several incredible local Indigenous youth. And I'm joined today by Simon Cody, Selim de Grand Pre, Keisha Tuax McMullen, Ulicia Ask Chief, and Alex Borghese. I invite each and every one of you to tell us a little bit about yourselves so we can let the world and the city know a little bit about you.
My name is Simon Cody. I am an Inuk from Iqaluit Nunavut. I'm also a first-year student at Carleton University, and I am also an employee at the Inuktitut Center for Inuit Children, Youth, and Families.
I do not mind at all. So, koi everyone, Nanu Akwe, Nadishinakas, and Dagni Dudem. Hi, my name is Alicia Asp Chief, and I am an Anishinaabe Kwe from the Algonquin and California Nation, residing here in Ottawa, Ontario, on unceded, unsurrendered Algonquin territory. So I work in the mental wellness field, and I am just finishing up my degree with a Bachelor of Music and a minor in Indigenous Studies.
I am Salem de Grand Pre. I am an urban Inuit artist. My family comes from Baker Lake, Nunavut. I hope to bring awareness to Indigenous issues, culture through my art. A lot of my art focuses on Indigenous empowerment, traditional tattoos, and missing and murdered Indigenous women. And I work at the Inuktitut Inuit Urban Center.
Kwe, I'm Keisha Tuax McMullen from. I'm an Algonquin and Mohawk from Algonquin to the Pikwakanagan First Nation. I'm 15 years old. I currently go to Opeongo High School, and I'm in grade 10. I play hockey, and I'm an active fancy shawl dancer who travels around to powwows every summer, but haven't been able to go to them this year. Thanks for having me here today.
Hi there, I'm Alex. I'm a Métis youth of Ontario. I enjoy doing photography, filmmaking. Those are pretty much my hobbies. I enjoy spending times outdoors and stuff. So I also enjoy showcasing the nature and surrounding landscape around the Rideau River.
Well, thank you all very much for telling us a little bit about yourself and some of the great work you're doing. I'm a Carleton grad, so I'm biased towards Carleton students. So nice to see a couple students from my alma mater. But I'm honored to be joined by such talented, passionate, and driven youth, and I want to thank you for sharing the space with us today. Je vais maintenant lire la proclamation. It's now my pleasure to read the official proclamation. Whereas Ottawa lies on the ancestral lands of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe First Nation, And whereas June 21st, 2021 is National Indigenous Peoples Day in Canada, whereas National Indigenous Peoples Day is a day for all Canadians to celebrate the cultures and contributions of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis, whereas this day is part of the wider recognition of the important role Indigenous peoples have played within the fabric of Canada, as well as their ongoing contributions to the Canadian experience. And whereas the City of Ottawa recognizes the role of Indigenous peoples in our region and the valuable contributions of its community towards social and economic inclusion, the creation of a vibrant and healthy city. Par conséquent, Jim Watson, maire de la ville d'Ottawa, proclame par le présent le 21 juin 2021, Journée nationale des peuples autochtones à Ottawa. Therefore, Jim Watson, mayor of the City of Ottawa, do hereby proclaim June 21st, 2021, National Indigenous Peoples Day. And here's the proclamation right here. I think Alicia is now going to chat with us. Alicia?
Hello. Okay, so I was asked basically to speak on behalf of Indigenous youth, and I was worried a bit on how exactly I wanted to present this. I know from a personal standpoint I could speak, so most of this is going to be my personal standpoint. So National Indigenous Day is seen as the one time per year where we as Indigenous people have a platform of which we can share with others our Indigenous history and culture. We use this opportunity to celebrate, commemorate, and elaborate on who we are as people. As an Indigenous youth, I stand before you and I acknowledge that I myself have been incredibly fortunate to have been brought up with my culture, with my education, with my family, and with my traditional teachings, unlike many others that have come before me. I strive to be a strong and persistent role model for Indigenous youth globally, and I'm proud to stand here representing such a strong, resilient community.
Well, thank you very, very much, Alicia, for the thought and that you put into those words and for being a great role model in your community. I do want to just, before we close, to say thank you very much for sharing some time with me today. You can see we have just behind me the two Algonquin flags that fly not just on one day, but 365 days a year outside in our council chamber and here in my office as a recognition of the original peoples of this land. So thank you all for being role models in your own ways. And I want to wish everyone a very wonderful and meaningful National Indigenous Peoples Day here in Ottawa and throughout the country. So please enjoy, and it was very nice meeting you virtually over the course of the last few minutes. And hopefully many people will be able to see this discussion and learn a little bit more about you and your culture. So thank you all very much. Merci beaucoup, miigwech.